Hi guys, it's Mrs. Tucker. Before we take this computation test, I want to go over a couple of problems that kids tend to skip a lot. I want you guys to do well on this last computation test. So let's look at a couple of problems here. All right, this one right here, a lot of kids do their computation properly, but they don't know what to do with their decimal point. So let me show you how this works. 9 times 8 is 72. 7 times 8 is 56, and 56 plus 7 more gives you 63. All right, now we're going to drop in a 0 right here. You guys like to write the 0. I don't usually do that. 6 times 9 is 54. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. 54. 7 times 6 is 42, and 42 plus 5 more is 47. Add those together, you get 2, 7, that's going to be 13 and 5. And now people don't know where to put the decimal point. All right, I moved over 1 decimal point place here. I've moved over 2 decimal places here. That's 1 there and 2 there. Add that together. You need to take the decimal point that's right here and move it over 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So your answer here was 5.372. All right, here's the next problem that a lot of kids tend not to get right. That is not your bell. Okay, here's the next one. I see kids just absolutely skip this one. They don't know what to do. All right, this says round to the nearest tenth. This says 0.06 is being divided into that many pieces. So which one goes in the house? Which number goes in the house? If this one is being divided into that many pieces, yeah, the first number goes in the house. So the 0.87 goes outside. The next step is to deal with your decimal point. I don't want to divide by that decimal. I want that to be a whole number. So I'm going to move that decimal point 2 places to the right, which means I also need to scoot that decimal point 2 places to the right. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move that decimal point straight up onto that dividing line up there. All right? And then I'm going to clean it up and make it all look pretty. That's what we're dividing now. Okay? How many times does 87 go into 6? It doesn't. Put a 0 there. Now, I've got 60. How many times does 87 go into 60? It doesn't. You have to put a 0 here. How many times does 87 go into 600? I think it goes in there about 6 times. So 87 times 6 gives you 522. And now we're going to subtract. All right, I'm going to borrow from here. That makes that 10, but I'm going to borrow from there. That makes that a 9. That makes that 10. Subtract, you get an 8. Subtract here, we get 7, and that's a 0. Now I'm going to bring down a 0. How many times does 87 go into 780? Well, work it out, and you'll find out it goes in there 8 times. Let's just double check. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. 64 plus 5 is 69. When you subtract, let's see here. Let's borrow here. That's going to be 18, but I'm going to borrow. That makes that 17. That's 10. 4, 8. Yep, that worked out. It says round to the nearest tenth. Your tenths place is right here. Actually, we went a little farther than we needed to. Your tenths place is there. This number right here decides if the 0 stays a 0 or if it becomes a 1. Well, it becomes a 1, and your answer is 0.0 round, 0.01 rounded to the nearest tenth.
Can you say my name in the video?
No.
Did you say like, hey, okay?
Okay, here's the next problem that kids will skip. I don't understand why. I guess, I don't know. I got an idea why they skip it. This is just plain straight division. And it says leave the remainder as a fraction. Okay, so you're going to have to figure out, well, 28 doesn't divide into 16. So I need to figure out how many times 169 is divisible by 28. And you're going to work that off to the side. And you're going to find out it goes in there about 6 times. So I'm going to write a 6 here. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 2 is 12, and 12 plus 4 more is 16. Subtract, you get a 1. All right, let's bring down this 0. Here's a big error that kids make all the time. How many times does 28 go into 10? It doesn't. You must put a 0 right there. Now, bring down that last 5. How many times does 28 divide into 105? Work it off to the side, and you're going to find out it goes in there 3 times. All right, 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 2 is 6. 7, 8. Let's subtract. Okay, there's our remainder. It says leave the remainder as a fraction. So my answer is 603 and 21 over 28, and you're not done. You need to see if this will reduce. Okay, they're both divisible by 7. Top and the bottom are both divisible by 7. So you get 603 and 3 over 4. That's your answer. Okay, 2 more problems. This one right here, you're multiplying mixed numbers. In order to multiply mixed numbers, you have to change them to improper first. Okay, so 2 and 1/2 is the same as how many halves? 5 and 1/3 is the same as how many thirds? 5 times 3 plus 1? 16 thirds. Now, multiplying fractions is no problem. Tops times tops and bottoms times bottoms. You get this. I like to cross simplify here before I continue. I see that both of those are divisible by 2. And now I'm going to do my tops times tops and bottoms times bottoms. All right, this says 40 divided by 3, so I'm going to set it up like this, thank you. And then go ahead and do my division. That goes in there once, that's 3, subtract. 3 goes into 10 3 times, that's 9. Subtract and you get 1. So your final answer is 13 and 1/3. There's your answer. One more problem. Dividing with fractions. All right, first thing you got to do when you're going to divide with fractions or mixed numbers, you've got to change them to improper. So 3 and 3/4 is how many fourths? Yep. 1 and 3/8 is how many eighths? Yep. Dividing fractions is easy as pie. Flip the second one and multiply. All right, now we're back to doing tops times tops, bottoms times bottoms. Before I go any farther, I'm going to cross simplify right here. Okay? Now I'm going to multiply my tops and my bottoms. And I get 30/11ths. Which one goes in the house? Yeah, the top one does, the 30 does. 11 goes out here. That 11 goes into 32 times. That gives you 22. Let's go ahead and subtract. My final answer is 2 and what? What's my remainder? Put it in fraction form. 8/11ths. And we're done. Okay? I know you guys can do this. Do your best on the computation test.